Hello, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Jarrett, and I'm back with A Boy Called Bat. This book was written by Alana K. Arnold, and it was illustrated by Charles Santoso, and it was published by the Walden Pond Press. Today I'm going to be reading chapters 15 and chapter 16. I am looking at my book and I'm realizing we are halfway through the book. So this story is about a boy named Bat who's really lovable but rather peculiar, has some peculiar habits. His sister Janie, his mom, who is a veterinarian, and some other various people, a teacher, a dad, some friends. But the story is about Bat so far, and his mom has brought home a baby skunk kit for them to raise, and Bat is very, very excited. He thought he wanted to name the skunk Stripey, and his sister told him that name was a stupid name, and he challenged her by saying, well, what do you think would be a good name? And his sister came up with the name Thor, because the kit was born on a Thursday, and she was reading mythology, and Thursday is Thor's day. And of course, Bat thought that was brilliant. So now the kit is named Thor, even though Mom cautioned them to not name the kit because she's afraid they'll get too attached. And then, of course, we left him last night very determined to have the kit sleep with him. And Mom was very firm and said no. And then they made a deal that he could go with Mom to work to help clean the cage and such. And he tried to say that he would be more than happy to scrape off his plate, which he has trouble doing, and put it in the dishwasher if he could have the kit stay in his room. So anyway, chapter 15, and it's entitled Dr. Jerry Dragoo. Later in his room, when he was supposed to be sleeping, Bat climbed out of bed and pulled his animal encyclopedia from the shelf. He flipped to the S section and found the page labeled Skunk. At the top of the page was a glossy picture of a large black and white skunk nosing along a patch of dirt. In the background of the picture were hundreds of white and yellow daisies. Below the picture were a bunch of questions and answers about skunks. Why do skunks spray? Skunks spray an oily liquid from glands underneath their tails as a defense. Their spray doesn't cause any real damage, but boy, is it stinky. A skunk's smell can be detected by a human from a mile away. Where do skunks live? Skunks can make many places their home. Abandoned burrows constructed by other animals, a hollow log, even underneath your house. What are skunks' predators? Lots of mammals, including red foxes, coyotes, and domestic dogs, will attack a skunk if they get hungry enough, though only as a last resort, because it's difficult to attack a skunk without a smelly reminder of it. But aerial predators, large birds like owls, don't care so much about the scent. For one thing, it's hard for a skunk to spray an attacker from the sky. For another, many birds of prey have little to no sense of smell. Finally, Bat got to the last and most important question. Do skunks make good pets? Skunks are wild animals, and wild animals belong in the wild. But according to the world skunk expert, Dr. Jerry Dragoo, head of the Dragoo Institute for the Betterment of Skunks and Skunk Reputations, while skunks in general do not make good pets, what makes a good pet is a good pet caretaker. Lots of interesting facts there about skunks. Bat closed the book. He put it back on the shelf right where he always put it, next to his Lego pyramid. Dr. Jerry Dragoo, world skunk expert. Bat liked that name. He liked doctors because they usually knew lots of useful things. He liked the name Jerry because it was the same as that funny mouse in the old cartoons, the one who always outsmarted the cat. And Dragoo reminded him of dragon. Of course, there was probably no such thing as great dragons, but there might be. Dr. Jerry Dragoo. That was someone Bat would like to meet. Chapter 16. A correspondence. The next day, when it was time for recess, Israel stopped at Bat's desk instead of going outside with the rest of the class and asked, "Hey, Bat, do you want to play Foursquare or something?" "No," said Bat. He was still sitting at his desk. "No, you don't want to play Foursquare?" "No, I don't want to play anything," Bat answered. All the other kids had left the classroom. And Bat really wanted Israel to leave too so that he could talk to Mr. Grayson in private. But Israel kept standing there like he was waiting for something. "Well, do you want to go outside and just not play anything?" "No," Bat said, "I don't." Israel stood next to the desk for a moment longer, sort of smiling, like he was waiting for Bat to say something more. But what could he be waiting for Bat to say? In his head, Bat ran through the list of things he was supposed to remember to say to people. "Excuse me. I'm sorry. Please. May I? Thank you." "Thank you," Bat said. Okay," said Israel, and he shrugged, and then finally he left. After Israel was gone, Bat went up to Mr. Grayson's desk. Mr. Grayson had a stack of their current events assignments in front of him, and he was making comments on each one in a green felt tip pen. Here's Bat sitting at his desk, with Israel looking at him, waiting for him to change his mind probably about going outside. "Mr. Grayson," Bat said, "I need your help." Mr. Grayson put the cap on his pen and set it down. "I'm all ears," he said. That was a funny expression, and for a second Bat pictured Mr. Grayson made entirely of ears, with ears for eyes and an ear for a nose and 2 tiny rows of little ears for teeth. "Well," said Bat, "let me tell you about Thor." And then Bat told Mr. Grayson everything about the skunk kit, how Mom had brought him home after his mother had died, how he had drank pumpy formula because there is no skunk formula, about how he went to the bathroom and how he needed to eat every 2 hours, and how when Mom first brought him home he was almost all pink, but now his black fur was starting to grow in, and most of all, how Bat loved him. "He sounds pretty great," Mr. Grayson said. "Yes," said Bat. "He's more than pretty great. He is all the way great." "So how can I help you, Bat?" "There's a world skunk expert named Dr. Jerry Dragoo, and I want to ask his advice about something. It's important." "Okay," said Mr. Grayson. He pushed the stack of papers to one side and pulled his laptop from his satchel. He opened it and logged on. That was one of the great things about Mr. Grayson. If you said you needed help, he just helped without a lot of annoying questions. "There's only one Dr. Jerry Dragoo," said Mr. Grayson. "He's a professor at a university. We can write him an email if you want. That's his email address right here." Could it really be that easy? Could Bat really just write to the skunk expert? Bat liked to send emails. He sent emails every month to his grandmother who lived in Idaho because he hated talking on the phone. Emails gave you time to think. "Okay," said Bat. "What do you want it to say?" "I can type for you." Mr. Grayson clicked on his small email icon and typed in the address. "Oh, that's all right," said Bat. "I like to type." Mr. Grayson let Bat sit in his chair. Bat typed, "Dear Dr. Jerry Dragoo." Mr. Grayson said, "You can just write, Dear Dr. Dragoo. People don't usually use a person's first and last name when they start a letter." "People don't usually have a name as cool as Dr. Jerry Dragoo," Bat said. Mr. Grayson laughed. "I can't argue with that." Bat went on. "My mom brought home a baby skunk. She is a vet, and she had to help him be born. His mother died, but she didn't have any diseases, and neither does he. His name is Thor. I want to keep him as a pet because I know I can be a good pet caretaker. Even if I can't keep him forever, I want to at least keep him until he goes back home to the wild, not give him to the skunk rescue people. Please write back and say I can so I can tell my mom that a world skunk expert says yes. Then she will probably let me keep him." "Is that okay?" Bat asked. Mr. Grayson didn't answer right away, so Bat turned to look at him. Mr. Grayson's face was squinched up like he was trying not to laugh, or maybe like he was going to cry. Mr. Grayson, Bat asked, what's wrong? Oh, nothing is wrong, Bat. That's a very nice email. I will be interested to hear what Dr. DeGrue says. Me too, said Bat. At the end of the email, he typed, sincerely, Bixby Alexander Tam. People call me Bat. All right, that's the end of chapters 15 and 16 for today, boys and girls. I will read chapter 16 and 17. Look for it tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.